ESPN analyst, former coach Herm Edwards joining us here on The Fan. Herm, how you doing today?
I am well. It's kind of interesting, the National Football League, especially, right about now when guys are doing a little bit of working. There's always high expectations right now. And that's a good, that's a good thing. There's no pass, there's no score. And guys are excited, which is a good thing.
It is a good thing, and we're very excited here in Cleveland for a multitude of reasons. Obviously, we have a quarterback battle going on, and we have 4 different quarterbacks. Before we go into that battle and go, well, let's just start off going one by one, essentially. But Shedeur Sanders is where I want to start with you. It seems like he's had a very, very good mini camp and very good little last month here, hanging around the Browns and really just showing off the field and on the field what he can do. What are your expectations for Shedeur this upcoming season?
Well, I think at the end, especially when the preseason starts, he's going to find a way to beat those guys out. That's just my opinion. The eye test tells me at the end of the day. Now, I've known him since he was a little kid, but I just think his makeup, what he's all about, felt like he got slighted in the draft, and I will agree with him. He did. Not saying maybe he should have been the first player picked. I'm not saying that. But I think there's a lot that went into that, why he dropped so much. I don't think it had anything to do with football. But the other things that go along with football, I think the glare of who he is, who his father is, I think a lot of teams were hesitant, worried that they didn't want that in their locker room. But when you meet the kid and you meet what he's about, he's a pro. He's a pro. He knows how to do things. He goes about it the right way. So I just think when the lights come on and they start playing in the preseason, look out. I think he's going to do good.
Herm, what do you think is his most translatable NFL trait?
I think, he understands the game very well. I mean, this guy's been schooled since he was a little kid by his dad. He's been around it. He's seen it. He understands the mentality of it all. He grew up in it. He's watched it. His father, maybe you can say one of the best athletes ever played the game. And I think sometimes, when people look at Deion Sanders and they don't know him, they don't understand Deion Sanders is one of the smartest football players ever played the position. So this guy is not just, talented. I mean, he's a study. I mean, he gets it. He knows how to prepare. All those things are in his favor.
Is he going to have enough reps in order to win out the job? When you have 3 other quarterbacks and 4 quarterbacks total, it's not something we typically see. And there's days, a lot of days, but is he going to have enough reps in order to be able to really showcase what he can do?
Well, that's going to be on the coach. That's where coaching comes in at the end, right? I mean, when you watch him practice every day, it's like, okay, eventually got to make a decision. So that's it. Eventually they got to say, okay, this is how it's going to be, because you're right, especially in professional football. You only have so many reps. It's not like college football where you can stay out there for 3 hours with those kids. Mm-hmm. You only got so many players, and you are correct. Who is going to get the reps? And I think the reps are going to be looked at this way. When you get reps, what is your production? And here's another thing I want to know. This is even going to be more interesting. Who are they building the offense around?
I mean,
that has something to do with the quarterback too.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of run game, if I'm going to be honest, for this upcoming year. I think a lot of run game, probably a lot of defense and run game. Probably steal a lot of what the Steelers have done in recent years and maybe try to attack it for that way if you're trying to go just in a big picture. But for the offense, it's going to be a lot of run game.
Well, we say that, but they were 29th running the football. There's only 32 teams.
No, I know, but they drafted 2 running backs, though. That's why you took Judkins in the second round. You took Sampson.
Running backs don't block.
I know the running back. Yeah, I know. It's all fair points, but you have a healthier offensive line. Yeah, healthier offensive line, you would imagine. Offensive line was miserable last year, Herm. You know that. That was a miserable offensive line last year. That was tomato cans over there, Herm.
Yep, I understand. I had some of those guys in my time. I understand. No, I just think, it's interesting that, and this, it's just, and you said it when we started the conversation, they got 5 quarterbacks. Not 3, they got 5. They got 5 of them.
You count Deshaun then is what you're getting at here.
Yeah, I'm gonna count him, but he's out. He's still recovering. So we was okay. They got 4. They got 4 quarterbacks. I get it, but I'm like, who? And 2 of them are young ones, right? Mm-hmm. 2 of them are young ones. And so it's like, oh, okay, well, it'd be interesting to see how they do this, how they actually, divvy out the reps. How do they do that? I don't know how to do that. Look, it's not like Kenny Pickett is the guy, and,
right.
And he doesn't like, okay, I'm ready to go. He ain't ready to go either.
Herm, when you were a coach, how did you do it? How did you divvy up the reps? How did you decide who got the most, especially in a situation where you have what is a quarterback competition?
Well, you got to make sure of this. There's only so many plays that you have allocated. And I always felt this way. If you have a young guy at the quarterback position, it's going to be critical that eventually he gets reps against the number 1 defense. That is critical. How does he play against the ones? Not against other college players, not against free agent football players, but against the number 1s. And then some kind of way in the preseason, which you can do, you got to orchestrate it to where, and you know this, when you get in the preseason, when the other team is playing as ones on defense, you got to get those guys in the game. They got to go out there with number 1 offensive line, and they got to go against the ones on defense.
Herm Edwards joining us here on the North Olmsted Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram hotline. Let me ask you, what should the goal for this season be? If you're a Browns fan and you're listening and you're like, all right, I want Herm to tell me about my team and how they look. We've talked about the 4 quarterbacks, and that might be a part of it. What should the goal be for a Browns fan listening?
Well, look, they were 3-14 for numerous reasons. We get all that. They were 2-4 in their division. You know a lot about your team when you can win in a division. Can you go 500 in your division? Can you go over 500 in the division? That's headed in the right direction. 3-14, okay. You started. Let's say I don't know who's starting. Let's say you start a rookie quarterback. What does that look like? Can you get 4 more wins with a rookie quarterback? Maybe. Can you get 5 more wins with a rookie quarterback? Because at the end of the day, I think you got to start the rookie. I just do. I mean, you drafted 2 of them. What did you draft them for? Sit the bench and look at each other? Carry a clipboard? I mean, you drafted 2 rookie quarterbacks.
Yeah.
You can't say, well, hey, man, I'm going to put you on the shelf. What are you putting them on? Unless you're going to trade one of them. So, to me, it's like, okay, we drafted 2 of them. Then somebody got to play.
Right from the
I
outset?
I don't know that much about it, but I just think that at the end, right?
Right from the outset?
So you were 3-14 last year. You were 3-14. So so you got to make a decision. If you start a rookie quarterback, the fans are going to say, we're okay with that. We can live with that. Midway through the season, is he a better player? Is the team better because he's the quarterback? That's going to be the critical part. You drafted 2 rookie quarterbacks, not 1. You drafted 2 of them.
Do you think there needs to be a situation throughout the course of the year, Herm, where both of them get an opportunity to start meaningful games?
Oh, I think so. I think unless one of them just starts to run away with it.
Okay.
And who can lead the team? Here's what I want to know, and the coach will do this. When you walk into the huddle, you want to see that rookie quarterback control that huddle. When they break the huddle, do the guys in the huddle trust him? Do they trust the quarterback, especially a young guy? Do they trust him? That's going to be the key. Can he lead the team? Can he lead a veteran group of guys? This is a 3-14 team. Can that guy, when they break the huddle, they look at the quarterback and say, this guy gives us the best chance to win? Because let me tell you something. Veterans, when you're a veteran guy, your clock's ticking. You know, this ain't like, oh, I'm going to play 10 more years. No, you might have another year or two. And you don't want to go through another 3-14 seasons. So whoever that quarterback is, you're going to know if those guys trust him and they want to play for him. You're going to figure that out real fast.
Do you think Kevin Stefanski will be the head coach? Let's say you start off. I don't know if you've seen the schedule or not. Early on, it's just a brutal schedule. First 6 weeks are incredibly hard. Do you think Stefanski does he make it past week 9 if things do go sideways, or does he? Do you feel like it just might not end up being the right time for him here in Cleveland?
Look, being a former coach and player, you know what? I don't want to even get into that. That's just that. I don't go down that road. I'm wishing all these guys well. I know how hard it is, and especially when you start a rookie quarterback. And I think they're going to start a rookie quarterback.
Well, let me rephrase it then. Do you feel like he's been given a bad deck of cards to be able to even showcase what he can do as a head coach? You mentioned 3-14 last year, and yes, they have taken some rookie quarterbacks, but it's not as if many people believe this roster is stacked.
Well, it's not. Now they're defensively they've got some they got they got one guy over there that's really really good that wears the S on his chest.
Mm-hmm.
that Garrett guy, he's really good, by the way. And they got a few good players on defense. They really do. I just think it's a team that, first of all, when you look at the division, it's a pretty tough division when you look at it. And I'm not making excuses, but are they better than the Ravens?
No,
they're not better than the Ravens. Are they better than the Cincinnati Bengals? No. Now, it's interesting. Pittsburgh Steelers. Now they got Aaron Rodgers. They should be better at the quarterback position. They should be better. But here's what I'm saying about it. In that division, with all those really good teams, we're talking 2 really good quarterbacks with the Ravens and the Cincinnati Bengals. We can't argue that.
Right.
They were still competitive in the division. They were 2-4. Look, the best record in the division was the Ravens. They were 4-2. Cincinnati was 3-3. The Pittsburgh Steelers were 3-3. So with this 3-14 record, they were 2-4. They're a competitive group. Can they just find the quarterback, whoever it is? And I think it's going to be a rookie. I don't know that. I haven't been to practice. I haven't called anybody. I just think if you drafted 2 of them, you can't have both of them sitting the bench.
Herm,
can't do that.
Fantastic insight as always. We'll check in with you as the season moves on, and hopefully you're right about these rookie quarterbacks, and hopefully they do look better, at least more competitive within the division as well. We appreciate the time. Thank you, Herm.
Thank you, man.